contractors, when they buy a software like that, they may usually only implement 40 or 50, sometimes 60% of the features that are available in that. And we try to, really try to push and use all the features that we can use in that software. And as we were pushing and looking and asking what it could do, we kept on discovering more and more missed opportunities and things where we needed to integrate our estimating department with our other with our other parts of our business, like accounting and budgeting and stuff like that. And we started coming up with more and more ideas of how we could automate that workflow from estimating into project management into budgeting. And as we just kept on just uncovering, it was like peeling off an orange, just all of these different layers of things we could do, and these projects and the scope just kept on growing and growing. It was like, who's going to man all this work and trying to build all these integrations and do it? We were asking ourselves this, and about that time when that was all going on, I got a mass email, or one of the emails from the MCAA, the newsletter, and they talked about this, construction technology report and JB Knowledge and and construction technology, and it just got my attention. I was like, what is that? And so I subscribed. So I clicked on the link, and it took me to the JB Knowledge website and the ConTech Trio, and I realized they had a podcast about this stuff. And I was like, wow, I've never heard of a podcast about construction and technology. This was back in end of 2016 when they just started the podcast, and I was like, that's pretty cool. But you get so busy, you never really take time to listen to that stuff. And so I put it in my to-dos. Sometime I'm gonna listen to that podcast, And so it was about 3 months later, I got really sick. My kids got me sick, and I was throwing up on the couch. I couldn't do anything else. And I was like, what am I gonna do? And I remembered that podcast. I was like, this is a good time to listen to that podcast. So I queued it up, and there had just been a guy on from Innate, from Peter Kiewit. And being from Omaha, I knew all about Peter Kiewit, and I was like, well, that's pretty interesting. And listening to this, it was a CEO from Innate, and he was talking about the innovation culture that they had there at Kiewit, and about how they had launched this Innate, the Innate software out of Kiewit. And I mean, just everything that he was talking about, just resonated with me. And I was just completely blown away. That podcast just opened up my world and my ideas and just really resonated with me. I'd always just loved technology and just wanted to be, do more and more of it. And at the same time, we were looking at all these ideas and they were talking about, having someone who at your company who's just solely focused on, it has a construction background, but solely focused on implementing and looking for technologies and integrations to your company. So I actually took that podcast and I wrote down a couple of the clips from it and went and talked with the president and the vice president, one of the vice presidents from our company, and showed them those clips and said, what if we created a position like this? And I laid out all of our ideas of some of the things we could do, and that's where the position was born. That's one of the great things about P1 Group. If you're passionate about something, if you really have vision, there's always the opportunity to do something new, to do what you're passionate for, to grow it. So yeah, I was really thankful for that. So that's kind of how.
So what's your official title now, though?
So my official title now is construction technologist. So we were looking. We were like, what do we call this thing? And so I actually emailed James Benham and said, hey, if you had a person at your company, doing this, what would you call him? And he was like, a construction technologist. And I really didn't like it at first, but we tried a couple other titles and it just didn't quite work or resonate or whatever. So I flipped back, and ever since then, it's just been, construction technologist. So.
Well, crazy enough, that's what kind of caught my eye when I was going through like some of the rosters of our first couple tech conferences and MEP innovation meetings. I was like, wait, there's somebody actually has the title construction technologist. I've got to meet this guy.